Welcome to the launch of Breastival. I am so excited to have so many people here to join us for the launch of Breastival. This is Breastival2021. For those of you who don't know, Breastival is a mom-led, unique, award-winning festival, and we are on a mission to celebrate, normalise and support breastfeeding. And this is our massive celebration of World Breastfeeding Week 2021. And today we turn 5. This is our 5th year. We're based in Northern Ireland and we began life in 2017, co-founded by myself and Jenny Wallace. And our goal was to create a space where women and families could connect with each other and also connect with the fabulous support services that are available in Northern Ireland. And bringing families and support services together with international experts. And this year being online, we have been able to connect with so many amazing experts, and I'm so excited to share some of the highlights of the programme with you. This year's theme for World Breastfeeding Week is Protecting Breastfeeding, a Shared Responsibility. And as we are in the middle of a pandemic, it is so important to highlight the fact that there is still so much support out there in the community for women to connect to. We have a fabulous panel that's going to be coming up shortly with representatives from the Leche League, from NCT, from Sure Starts, and from across all of the 5 health and social care trusts in Northern Ireland. And we've got an amazing range of speakers that's going to chat to you in this panel. But I just wanted to have a big shout out to everyone who's involved in protecting and supporting breastfeeding across Northern Ireland and across the world, from the volunteers who help out, peer supporters, midwives, health visitors, IBCLCs, husbands, partners, family members, grannies, anyone who has ever shared a brelfie on social media. All of that contributes to normalising breastfeeding and improving the environment for everybody who chooses to breastfeed. And this year, thanks to our main sponsor, the Public Health Agency of Northern Ireland, and our wonderful board, Nuala Toman, Claire Flynn, Maria McDade, Shauna Talbot, Myra Alexander and Laura Ward, our wonderful volunteers, and our absolutely incredible coordinator, Catherine Muldoon, we are bringing you an absolutely packed week of fun and support. We've got campaigning, we've got a quiz night, we've got politics, a movie night. Like, do not miss the movie night. It's going to be amazing. And of course, we've got the big latch on Saturday morning at 10:15. We hope that it's going to be one of the largest gatherings of breastfeeding women online, so please don't miss that. Throughout the week, we've got NCT breastfeeding counsellors delivering workshops. We've had huge demand for that and have already added extra sessions. Thank you to NCT ladies for facilitating those. And we will be joined very shortly by our fantastic panel of women who are working to support breastfeeding families across Northern Ireland. This evening, just to give you a flavour of the rest of the activities that we have for the week's programme, we have this evening, Catherine is going to be launching Baby Grow, which is our new initiative to support families online. And we want to hear from you. So we want you to tell us what you want Baby Grow to be, what you want us to talk about. So it's not just about breastfeeding, it's support for parenting and all things baby. So do join and tell us what you want out of Baby Grow. On Monday, then, we have a session on focusing on rural families and the challenges that rural families face and the importance of family support and supporting the wider community for families in rural areas. And at 8 p.m. on Monday, we've got an amazing session where you can find out what you can do to help to support campaigns or join in with campaigns that are already running to help to improve the landscape for breastfeeding women or for maternity services more broadly. I'll be coming talking about Breastival. We've got representatives from Banya Beha, a new campaign group in the south of Ireland, and also we've got Birthwise, Northern Ireland maternity charity. So you can come and learn about that and campaigning, and that session is chaired by our fabulous board member, Claire Flynn, who is a veteran of public affairs and strategy and communications, who'll be leading that session for us. On Tuesday, the 3rd of August at lunchtime, we have Paula Bradley, MLA, who's the chair of the Northern Ireland Assembly Communities Committee, is going to be joined by Gabrielle Palmer, who is an internationally acclaimed author of The Politics of Breastfeeding and one of the founders of Baby Milk Action. And this session is a listening session. So you're not there to listen to them talk, they are there to listen to you, to hear what you as families in Northern Ireland, what your experiences are and what you want to see change. So it's really important that we have as many different voices represented at that session as possible. So do please come along to that. On Wednesday at 8 p.m, we have a discussion on perinatal mental health with leading advocacy and support organisations in Northern Ireland. With Nuala Toman is chairing that session, and that will be joined by Andrea Murta from the Parent Rooms and Lindsay Robinson Harrison, who's a campaigner in maternal mental health. Have You Seen That Girl? And then also we have Louise Taylor from Little Forget-Me-Nots Trust, who is working on support for parents who have suffered a bereavement and loss of a baby. So that's going to be a really excellent session. On Thursday, the 5th, we have Turbo Thursday. There's so much going on Thursday. We have at 10 a.m, we have Janet Calvert from the Public Health Agency, who's going to be talking about the experiences of women in Northern Ireland during COVID, particularly focused on breastfeeding and what they have learned throughout the course of the pandemic around women's experiences of support. And Janet will be joined by Dr. Natalie Schenker of the Human Milk Foundation and Dr. Claire Patton, who is a lecturer in corporate law in Queen's University in Belfast. And they will be talking about their research on women's experiences in COVID. And Claire will be talking about her work on what companies have been doing during COVID to take advantage of the pandemic to target marketing at disadvantaged families. It's fascinating work. At 1 p.m. on Thursday, we have representatives from WHO, from the Baby Feeding Law Group, Ireland and in the UK, and we have Code Monitoring NI, all talking about the 40th anniversary of the Code of the Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes. If you don't know what the code is, go along to that session. You'll find out all about it. It has been described as one of the most important documents ever written in public health. And that is saying something. At 8 p.m. on Thursday, we have an evening with Deepa Manclair. Deepa is a creative technologist and specialist in wellbeing and parent support. She's also a member of the General Medical Council and an Equality Commissioner. She's a fascinating, wonderful woman. And the talk will focus on what immersive technology and AI can do for parent support. It's going to be really, really fascinating, that one. It's something that we've not touched on before, using technology, so it's going to be a great conversation, and that one will be hosted by Nuala as well, our fabulous board member. On Friday, highlight of Friday is going to be the screening of Tigers in association with Fela. We have an incredible panel lined up for the screening of Tigers. We will be joined by the film's real life protagonist live from Pakistan. Zayed Amir Raza will be joining us live from Pakistan to introduce the film, along with the screenwriter Andy Patterson and the amazing Dr. Chris Van Tuliken, public health doctor and BBC presenter. If you don't know who Dr. Chris is, ask any 5-year-old who will tell you all about Operation Arch. And then we will be knackered by the time we get to Saturday. We will be hosting the Big Latch On, which will be hosted by Irish Times journalist and Friends of Breastfeeding Journalist of the Year 2018, Jen Hogan. She's going to be hosting the Latch On for us, and we're hoping that it's going to be one of the biggest gatherings of women joining to feed their babies and support each other. And we will also on Saturday at the Latch On be announcing the winner of this year's Breastival Badass Breastfeeder Award. And she has no clue that she's even been nominated, let alone the winner. So that's going to be awesome. And then because this year is focused on the anniversary of the code of the marketing of breast milk substitute is there to protect all families, not just families who choose to breastfeed. And so, of course, we wanted to walk the walk and tell you that we are going to bring you some information about formula feeding. And so Shell Banks, who is an expert is an infant feeding specialist, an IBCLC, and her main work is with families with unsettled babies and families of formula-fed babies. And she is a champion of evidence-informed practice. So she is going to be talking about formula, bringing you unbiased, evidence-based information about formula feeding for families who need to or choose to use formula. And then we will be ending the week with a fabulous quiz, hosted very generously by Tony at People Playbook. He's going to have music, crack, loads of prizes, and even some milk-themed questions to end the week. And I think all of our volunteers and board members are going to be enjoying some relaxing tipples and a bit of crack at the end of our week. And we hope that you can join us too. But that is all from me. But it is now my absolute honour and great pleasure to welcome Sabina Higgins, breastfeeding advocate, who also happens to be married to the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. Sabina has been a breastfeeding advocate for a number of years, and we are absolutely honoured to have Sabina to welcome you to Breastival and officially open the festival for you.
It gives me the greatest pleasure to be with you all, mothers, babies, family and supporters in this Breastival celebration. I thank Jennifer Hanratty and the organisation for your kind invitation. It gives me the opportunity to say again how important it is to celebrate and promote breastfeeding. It is the greatest gift any mother can give her child, and there is no greater gift that her family and friends can give to the baby than to enjoy the privilege of being able to support both the breastfeeding mother and her baby. For the wider society, it is important to support breastfeeding and to appreciate the great benefit breastfeeding gives to society in so many ways, health-wise for the citizens and economically to the country. The United Nations World Health Organization and UNICEF Children's Care have done the world the greatest favour by their research of scientifically proving, and I'll quote, breastfeeding is vital to a child's lifelong nutrition, health and well-being. It reduces costs for families, health facilities and governments. Breastfeeding protects children from infections and saves lives. It supports emotional bonding between mothers and babies, along with other mental health benefits. Why then are we in Ireland, in Northern Ireland and in the Republic, in such a pathetically low place as regards the percentage of our children being breastfed? We talk about biodiversity on the planet and of its willfully being degraded to the point that, with the disaster of climate change and all that follows, we are now in danger of bringing about the extinction of life on the planet if we do not take urgent action to avert that calamity and chart a better future. We human beings, the top of the chain of life, have, in our personal preferences, played no small role in insulting Mother Nature by ignoring her gift to us. I said at the breastfeeding webinar in the University of Galway last October, I find it very exciting the way that the beautiful term human milk is referred to and occurs in the work of so many of the speakers. It is so fundamental to our being. When one thinks of the millions of years of intelligence and intuition and instinct it took nature to evolve species that for the survival of their offspring reached a stage of mammal and eventually then human beings that could carry their young inside their body and then continue to feed it with milk once it was given birth to. How extraordinary then that miracle of creation, that birthright of a baby to its mother's milk should have been perversely thrown away, as it says in some poem, as if it were a careless trifle. We need to recover what was lost. There needs to be a great public awareness campaign to bring to the understanding of people the vital importance of breastfeeding to the well-being of humanity. We need a many-faceted campaign to dramatically increase the number of breastfeeding mothers. We need, as Breastival so well puts it, to normalise breastfeeding. We need the public education and cooperation of schools at all levels. We need the health services at all levels of the reproduction service to be required as part of their training to know and value all about breastfeeding and to be able to recommend, promote and guide its practice. I think this should be a compulsory requirement of the general practitioner's profession, as he is maybe the first person a woman will have an appointment with. The departments of health need to budget to advertise the importance of breastfeeding on the public broadcasting services, in the media, in leaflets and booklets readily available and displayed publicly in community outlets. The maternity services need to provide the number of midwives required to help at all stages of the pregnancy in preparation for birth and for as long after birth as it is needed by an individual mother. It is so irresponsible to leave the public awareness information neglected, while the aggressive marketing of breast milk substitutes by commercial interests continues to undermine breastfeeding. The World Health Organization Code, the International Code of Marketing Breast Milk Substitutes, designed to stop commercial corporations from damaging breastfeeding and endangering the health and nutrition of the world's youngest inhabitants, has not yet been fully implemented in legislation that is substantially aligned to the code. This needs to be lobbied for. We must keep in mind that traditionally, and even in our grandmothers' and great-grandmothers' time, almost all children were breastfed, usually for a year. Today, Norway and Sweden have 90% breastfeeding rates, and our ambition must be to achieve those rates. This would be in line with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, which has 5 goals dealing with the empowerment and education of women, and the elimination of poverty, and with health and well-being. We are indebted to all the wonderful people who have helped to increase the numbers of breastfeeding by their commitment to the ideal and by their dedication and support. There are the voluntary community organisations like Breastival itself, Lalesh League, Quidju, Friends of Breastfeeding, who provide information and support to expectant and new mothers. There's Banya Baha, the new energetic and highly motivated and able group I am delighted to see are taking part in the festival. Then, the wonderful baby feeding law group, who are doing such work in highlighting the unethical behaviours of the commercial formula corporations. I hope you will all be able to see the film Tigers during the festival, which will throw such light on what mothers and infants of the world are up against. There are many professionals in the maternity-related services who are doing great work in promoting and helping with breastfeeding. Unfortunately, the needed action and resources are not in place. I think the inspired objective of the Breastival organisation of normalising breastfeeding is a great way to go. I would like to see a coming together of all the interests to meet in public and see if a campaign of lobbying for legislation and resources of information and education and of services could be planned. There are so many committed individuals and groups working in their own way. I think if they were to come together, that big push that is needed could happen. My great wish would be that as breastfeeding promotion is aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals 2015-2030, that before that end date of 2030 is reached, we will have reached a breastfeeding figure of 80% to 90%. There is such wonderful commitment and generosity and love shown by the women who have experienced breastfeeding that I feel certain they will continue with the increasing success that they have attained so far. I look forward to attending Breastival in person in the future when that dreadful pandemic will be behind us. This year, we will enjoy Breastival virtually, and I wish it and you all great success and enjoyment. Breastival.